What up, though, people? Welcome back on this Victory Tuesday, that Lions Victory Tuesday. Man, what a victory. They finally defeat the Seahawks, and they did it convincingly because the offense was on one. Jared Goff didn't miss a single pass. He was perfect. Perfect, I might say.
Oh, yeah.
With you know, he supposedly can't get the ball downfield. He can't do a bunch of things. All I see this dude do is win. That is it, man. And I know you got some things you want to say about Jared Goff too, but just the leader that he was, it's not just a perfection in the stat sheet. This guy is a leader. I think you're going to continue to see his legend grow.
If you were to basically give me a choice of the exact offensive game plan, the exact way you start it, the way you finish it, the way Jared Goff played, it would look exactly like it did last night. I have absolutely no complaints. I wanted to see a complete game by the offense. I wanted to see it look like it did last year. And last night did not disappoint in the slightest. I mean, first of all, I loved, obviously they punted on their first drive and then they forced a Seahawks drive. And then the Lions took back possession and then executed a 12-play, 93-yard drive, took over 7 minutes off the clock. And the Lions, what did they do? They established the run. They demoralized a depleted Seahawks front. The Lions took advantage of it, even without Frank Ragnow. On that first drive, you got a steady dose of David Montgomery. Ran 7 times for 39 yards. Gibbs popped one for 20, and Monty punched it in from the 1-yard line to give the Lions a 7-0 lead. And what did the defense do? They got it back. Jack Campbell forced a fumble on DK Metcalf when DK Metcalf was fighting for extra yards. Carlton Davis picks it up and returns it to the 14. And then the Lions have a short field touchdown drive to make it 14-0. So that pretty much from there, the Lions were playing with the lead and cruising the rest of the way. I absolutely loved what I saw out of Jared Goff because at that point, with the run game established, with the whole playbook open, he was able to use play action. He was able to hit his receivers in positions where they could make plays. Because not only was Jared Goff perfect, 18 of 18, the Lions had over 200 yards after the catch. And Jared Goff, I think, did an excellent job of spreading it around. And I want to show you some examples because, of course, the most enjoyable one from last night was the guy that I've never wavered in my belief for, Jameson Williams. Of course, I'm just kidding. But I want to show you this JMO touchdown because I think it's a perfect microcosm of what we saw last night. Jared Goff stands in the pocket, throws a perfectly in stride to JMO, who gets it at his own 45, runs completely past Devon Witherspoon, and is able to high step from the 20-yard line. So that's 55 yards of yak from JMO. A perfect throw by Goff to allow JMO to make a play. And honestly, it was just beautiful. And like I said, he's high-stepping at the 20. Jameson Williams has that type of speed that very few NFL players have. Maybe no one, honestly, besides Tyreek Hill, and you love to see it. But it wasn't just Jameson Williams making plays after the catch. Show me that David Montgomery play, man, because that just gets us all bricked up. Look, let's move on to another one. How about Sam Laporta? Because Jared Goff, he hit Sam Laporta on a screen pass. Look at this one, play action screen. And then what does Sam Laporta do? He follows his blocks. He uses his, look at that little juke there, follows another block, and gets 30 yards. And what was the appeal of Sam Laporta coming out of college? That man is just dynamite after the catch. And we saw it last year, and we saw it this year with this big screen pass play. Went for 30. This one actually didn't have anything to do with yak yards, but show me that Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown, because that is another big play in that game. That was a receiver making a play. That's Jared Goff making the right read. Amon-Ra St. Brown is wide open. There's another playmaker on this Lions team that I didn't know about. Some guy who wears 16.
I was going to say, I think you got to be a little bit more appropriate. It's not the Jared Goff to Amon-Ra connection. It's just Amon-Ra and Jared Goff have a connection.
Look at this.
Period.
Look at this play. Hands it off to Amon-Ra on the end route and then throws it back to Jared Goff for the touchdown. And that, to me, another honestly showing off at that point. You love to see it. It is absolutely beautiful. And not to be outdone, do you know who else you saw really show up last night? How about Tim Patrick?
Yeah. He was getting hyped too.
You know who he reminded me of last night?
Who?
He reminded me of what Josh Reynolds did for the team last year. Tim Patrick had 2 catches for 52 yards, a 29-yarder, a 23-yarder, both first downs. He's that potential big body receiver who catches first downs, which is what Josh Reynolds was last season. And one of the things we saw when the offense was a little bit stagnant for the first 3 games at times is maybe Josh Reynolds unlocked everything. I thought that was a little bit of an exaggeration, but having somebody like Tim Patrick who can step in and fill that kind of a role is very, very valuable to this offense. So you love to see it. It was the perfect offensive game, and I think it just showed everybody doing what they do best, whether it's Goff, whether it's the weapons, whether it's Ben Johnson, whether it's the running game, even whether it's the pass protection with no Frank Ragnow. 42 points, man. The offense finally put together a complete game and looked like the dominant offense that we thought that it would be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and for me, that play to Goff, it goes beyond just being in your bag if you're Ben Johnson. Do you understand how much trust you have to have in a game where you realistically know this is a shootout to do that play? It's just like, wow, so many things can go wrong with the least of it being it's just not a completed play. But they executed that thing to perfection. And that to me is what I love about this team. As they're continuing to get that rhythm, as they're continuing to build that chemistry, to see that they can still go out there and put up 42 points. It was amazing. And you're right. It's because they can go out there and hurt any opposing defense in a plethora of ways. And J-Mo played a perfect role to open up a lot of the underneath and a lot of across the middle of the field type stuff for Amon-Ra and for Sam Laporta. And then when the defense has to cue in, all of a sudden, what happens when you get one perfectly placed Jared Goff pass to Jameson Williams streaking across the field? Yeah. No help on the backside.
There's nobody there. And like I said, he was able to high step from the 20.
Can we show that play one more time?
Yes,
bro.
Yes.
JB, if you can show that one more time, take a look at when Jared Goff throws this ball. J-Mo hasn't even crossed Sam Laporta. They haven't even crossed on the middle of the field. Jared Goff throws it where J-Mo is going to be, and it allows him in stride to high step it down the sideline for those last like 35 yards. It was wild. It was great anticipation by Goff to hit J-Mo in stride. So, like, it'll probably restart here. But I don't know if you're going to be able to see down the field. But he lets it go before they cross the center of the field. There we go. Hits him in stride. It was really great to see them at that time in the third quarter. Remember that St. Brown touchdown pass to Jared Goff? That was their first drive of the third quarter, and this was their second drive of the third quarter. That's 2 for 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, erasing one of those issues, at least for 1 week.
That's fair. And you know what that play showed when it comes to Jameson Williams, and as you said, throwing it to J-Mo before he's even really out of his break, it shows trust. That's something that there was concern whether or not Jared Goff had with J-Mo. Even last year, it seemed like he got some down the stretch to end the season, but you know, he has confidence that J-Mo is going to run his route where it's supposed to be, and Jared Goff was able to hit him as perfectly as you possibly can, because if that ball is even a little bit behind J-Mo, we don't know if Devon Witherspoon is able to make a play and get J-Mo down for like a 15, 20-yard gain instead of a 70-yard touchdown. So absolutely beautiful. Hey, but the way that it turned into a shootout, I mean, maybe it's not first world problems.
I mean, everything was necessary, including the 2 turnovers forced by the defense. Everything was needed. I believe, I know we're going heavy offense, but, I believe the defense obviously did just enough to keep that thing in check. But the offense just being in rhythm, the offense being confident, and that's the word. I think we all used it, is trust. Ben Johnson to be able to call some of these plays, and honestly to trust Amon-Ra to put that ball on the money. To know it was some of these calls against a Seattle team that started to charge and you started to see K9 going off. I never saw any aspect of like rattledness. Like, I know that there were some fans last night, and I saw our one, Maz. It looked like, at least to some people, that this was beginning to become like the same story. I remember last year, it was very, very similar to the Seahawks game, and we wound up losing down the stretch. But this was a squad that I just kind of saw and say, you know what, we're not having kind of some of those repeats in the past where the second halves are absolutely abysmal. The offense looked like they were clearly the better team, the best part of any part of that game, of either team, and I absolutely loved it. That's what we've been waiting to see from them through these first 4 games. And I think it's going to carry them through, really, the tougher parts of their schedule ahead.
Oh, it most certainly is, and it's not going to get easier for the Lions, and it's why winning last night was so imperative. And now that it's over, and now that I can stop emotionally hedging, I can really get the magnitude of it, because the Lions, they're not fighting to just get in. They're fighting for the 1 seed. And then you've got at Dallas, you've got at Minnesota coming up. So getting that win at home against the Seahawks to finish their first quarter of the season 3-1, 2-1 at home, you can't overstate just how valuable that win was, and just how great it was to see this offense really show out. And to just further your point on the whole throw from Amon-Ra to Jared Goff, I guess that's the Detroit special to pull from the Philly special. That was, as Broder said, right after the Seahawks had cut the lead to 7. If that play doesn't work, and this isn't to say anything bad about Ben Johnson, it shows that how much trust he had in his players that they were going to be able to execute. Because if it doesn't work, we're clowning them. We're saying, why are the Lions trying to get too cute? If Jared Goff drops that ball, it's like, Goff in his tiny hands. What are you doing throwing to that unathletic oaf? That's what we'd be saying. And I'm not saying Jared Goff is that. I'm saying that's what we would be saying. So the fact that it was able to be executed to absolute perfection, the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown has more touch on his throws, I think, than Alex Orji does, shows a lot. I love to see it.
We can talk about it.
No, we can't.
But that's the thing. You're encapsulating exactly what I'm talking about. It didn't look like a cute play. It looked like this is who we are. Get ready for mother effing anything. That's what I loved about it. It was just like, this is who we are. I got it. And to see, honestly, just one more thing on Jared Goff. We saw the tapes of him practicing the mobility, and we posted one of those clips during the offseason, and it blew up because everybody was like, way to go, Goff. Now, we've seen this guy's legs come through in crucial moments this season, whether it's scrambling for a first down, whether it's scrambling in the pocket to avoid a sack and to be able to throw it, or whether it's using your wheels and your hands to go and catch a touchdown. Like, Jared Goff has made some incremental improvements that I wonder if he's not using his legs. I know it's not a ton, but do the Lions pick up maybe an L along the way, another one? Each one of those plays has been so crucial for him, and I'm glad that he's not just resting on what he was. He's still taking steps to get better.
I mean, with Jared Goff, it's never going to be about him running the ball consistently, because I still think I run a faster 40 times than him, and that's not a shot. That's not a shot. But what Jared Goff does have, being a veteran quarterback, is he has pocket presence. He knows how to avoid the rush. He can feel the pressure. He can step up. He even got out of a couple, I would say, what looked to be certain sacks early on in the first half when I was on the watch party with Neil. And you know what? That's really all you have to do. Even though he's not mobile by traditional standards, he's got pocket presence and occasional pocket mobility, and that's all you really need, especially with this offensive line that, when they're healthy, is going to keep Jared Goff relatively protected, at least you think, sometimes very protected. That's why this offense is so good. At every level, they can kill you.